Okay, so step 4, we need to do some massaging of the data, make it a little bit more readable, a little bit more understandable. So let's take a look. Here's our spreadsheet. Notice you can see all of them, but this last one I'm having trouble seeing what's going on. I can always resize columns by putting my cursor right between the line at the top. Notice it's different down here, but my cursor changes when it's up here. If I move away, it also changes. But when it looks like that funky little cross right there, I can click and I can drag it as wide or as narrow as I want. Right? I can also double click on that, and it will automatically resize it to the perfect width. Okay. So let's add in a new row where we can put some titles for our data. So there's a couple ways of doing this. You can click on that first row and go to Home. You'd think it'd be Insert, but it's actually Home. And all the way over on the right, there is an Insert button, right, to insert a row. And I can click on that and get my new row. Another way to do this is I can just right-click on that row and say Insert. Okay. And then we can add some titles. So we've got animals, we've got frequency, and we've got percentage. So we're going to be doing something with this percentage column here in a few minutes. But notice once again, I've got some overlaps. So again, I can put my cursor here and I can move it over, double click, there we go. Now let's make this bold, because at the moment it's a little hard to tell that this first row is a heading. It looks kind of like the same as all the rest of the spreadsheet. So I'm going to select the entire row. I'm going to go to my Home tab on the ribbon, and I'm going to say bold. Like that. If we go back and look at our data, everything's in bold. Now, depending on how you resized this before, you may have trouble seeing the frequency again. And notice percentage is kind of going over its line too. So one thing you can do, let's mess all this up so it's hard to see again. There we go. I can individually resize the columns, or I can select the entire spreadsheet by putting my cursor right here, right above the row number and to the left of the column letter. Click it, and that selects the entire spreadsheet. And now if I go to any spot between two columns and double click, the entire spreadsheet will be perfectly resized. So it's a really nice little trick when you're trying to resize things to make it visible and readable.